everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be doing a giant book haul. I can't sing, but I'm going to anyways. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I post every Monday and Thursday, but I also do bonus videos sometimes. You can also follow me on all of my social media to keep up with me elsewhere. I will have all my handles down below for you guys. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So today's video is sponsored by Simon & Schuster in honor of the recent release of Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. Do you see how I coordinated my outfit to match this look? It kind of matches. Fashion! But anyways, this is a debut novel telling the story of young love in all of its awkward glory, which can relate. Your girl is the most awkward human being in the world. But the main character, Penny, is a recent graduate of high school on her way to college in Texas. High school was really just a non-event for her. It was kind of okay. She just cruised through and is now excited to get into college and make a name for herself. Penny's dream is to become a writer, and she thinks that college will provide the perfect opportunity for her to do that. On the other side of things, Sam is feeling like he's stuck. He's reached a really unfortunate chapter of his life where he's not really doing well financially, emotionally, anything. He's working at a cafe and also sleeping there, but he knows that this will just serve as inspiration for him when he becomes a famous movie director. Now, of course, Sam and Penny end up meeting, not so much of a meet cute, more like a meet awkward, but nonetheless they end up swapping numbers and the two become inseparable digitally. They talk to each other via text 24/7 and feel like they're able to share their deepest, darkest secrets, their biggest fears, insecurities, all of that stuff, because their text relationship feels like a safe space. And without the weirdness of having to see each other, everything feels really easy and not awkward at all. So throughout the course of this novel, you get to see their relationship blossom. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I love novels that have a little bit of an older protagonist, and I feel like I can identify with a lot of the aspects of this story, particularly the awkwardness and how it feels so much safer to talk to someone via text because I can like think out my response and I can't really articulate my thoughts well into words. In videos it's fine because like there's so many cuts, like there's so many bloopers that you guys don't see, and in text it's the same thing. I can really think about my response and I'm not like snap, have to make a decision and blurt something out which is probably going to be stupid and make a fool out of myself. I think their relationship is going to be really interesting to watch, and I also love books that are told in a kind of unusual format, and a lot of this book is told via their text messages, so there's a lot of chunks of text messages in here, so I think this is going to be a quick, very interesting read, and I'm so looking forward to seeing the relationship of these two characters turn from a little awkward caterpillar into a beautiful butterfly. I can't do a butterfly when I'm holding the book, but you get the point. So now getting into the other books of this haul, I have been sent a crazy amount of books recently, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you so much to all the publishers who have sent me these books. I can't wait to read them. So I'll start off with the books that I've received from Disney Hyperion. So first we have Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner are the co-authors of the Starbound trilogy, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Amy Kaufman also co-authors the Illuminae files with Jay Kristoff, and Megan Spooner has a couple of retellings on her own. One of them is out already and the other one is coming out soon. I actually don't know how soon. I'm just hoping it's soon because I want it now. So since I enjoy these authors so much and I love Starbound so much, I was really looking forward to this book when I heard it was coming out. I ended up listening to the audiobook for this, and I am an Audible affiliate, so if you click my link down below and sign up for a free trial, you can get a book for free, so if you wanted to try this one out. The audiobook was definitely the best route to go for me because it read like a really cool action-adventure story, and I've said this before, but it just reminds me of Temple Run. I think partially because the cover just looks like Temple Run, but also because it felt like I was reading this really cool sort of sci-fi dystopian video game. So in this book, Earth has been irrevocably environmentally damaged, which is not that far from the truth. But this is taking it to the extreme, so they're looking for solutions on where they can live and how they can survive. So when they intercept a message from a long-extinct alien race coming from their home planet of Gaia, I don't know, they realize that this could undo the damage that has already been done, and Gaia, I don't remember how they pronounced it, but it is just a treasure awaiting their discovery. If you're looking for like an action-packed, sort of different sci-fi dystopian, then this would definitely be for you. It was a really cool concept, and I think that these authors do such a great job of writing together. Next from Disney Hyperion is Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. This is the first book of Rick Riordan's new imprint at Disney, so it is Rick Riordan Presents, and this is also a book that deals heavily with Hindu mythology. So to have Rick Riordan, who I feel like is basically like the king of middle grade mythology fiction, stamp his approval on this book makes me very eager to read it. This is the story of a girl who wants nothing more than to be like her classmates. Her classmates all go on these crazy adventures and do crazy things because they're very wealthy, so they can afford to do that. So Aru is constantly lying to try and keep up with them, but her lies eventually catch up to her. And she ends up unleashing power greater than she could know, and it's just basically mass chaos. This sounds so cool. I'm so excited to learn more about Hindu mythology, and I think this is just going to be a very fun read. Next, I have a huge stack of books from Penguin Random House. They have been absolutely spoiling me lately. I love working with them, so I'm so excited about all of these books. They sound great. So first is Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. I read Seraphina by Rachel Hartman quite a few years ago. I actually remember I did a buddy read with Maureen over at Maureen Kiwi, and it was like the most exciting thing for me. But unfortunately, I didn't really love Seraphina. I loved the concept, but I felt like it was quite slow, and that really hindered a lot of my enjoyment of it. However, I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book, so I'm so pumped to get into it. So this is kind of a companion to Seraphina, I guess. I don't remember anything about it because I read it so long ago. And in the Kingdom of Garred, women are ladies, they have to be, you know, all prim and proper, and men are fearsome protectors, but dragons can be whomever they want. But Tess is none of those things. She's different. She doesn't really want to conform to any of those descriptions. So she is about to be sent to a nunnery because that's how you take care of things. So instead of succumbing to her fate, she ends up setting out on a journey all by herself, dressed as a boy. I'm really looking forward to trying this one out. I've heard such amazing things, and I need a good dragon book, so hopefully this will fit the bill. Also, I feel like the cover is absolutely gorgeous, so hopefully the inside matches. Next, I was sent both Nemesis and its sequel, Genesis, by Brendan Reichs. This is kind of a sci-fi dystopia that sounds really weird. So since she was 8 years old, every 2 years on her birthday, Min has been found by a strange man and murdered, only to wake up hours later in a field just outside of Idaho. The other character, Noah, is plagued by nightmares of death and murder, and to top it all off, the Anvil is this asteroid that is coming to destroy Earth. So this sounds like it's going to be a combination of really crazy, life-threatening things, and I'm super intrigued to see how it is all going to connect. Next is Orphan Monster Spy by Matt Colleen. This sounds like a crazy historical fiction unlike anything I've ever read before. It follows a Jewish girl who is on the run when she's approached by a man and is given a crazy mission. So she has to infiltrate a Nazi boarding school and find these plans that could save all of Western Europe. This is like such a high stakes situation that I am so intrigued to see how it is going to play out. I feel like this is just going to keep me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and it sounds just amazing. So I think I'll probably be saving this for around October because it seems like the perfect kind of intense thriller but also historical fiction for around that time of year. So we will see what I think of it then. If I can even wait that long, because like honestly it's looking really good. Next is I Have Lost My Way by Gail Forman. This is another book I've talked about in a video. I will link both of those videos down below for you guys. But this is Gail Forman's latest venture into YA contemporary. She always writes really intense and emotional contemporaries, and this one sounds like it's gonna be no different. This book follows 3 characters who are all lost in their own way, and they end up crossing paths and realizing that the way to find their own way might be to help each other. I love me a good emotional and intense contemporary. Don't get me wrong, I also like the fluffy stuff, but I just like something that makes me think, and something that once I put it down, I keep thinking about it. Gail Forman's books often do that for me, and I'm very excited to see if this one will have the same effect. In addition to that book, they sent me 3 of her other books. So of course we have If I Stay, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. It became a movie that was really good. I quite preferred the movie to the book, in all honesty, just my personal opinion. But it's about a girl who got into a car accident, and she's basically deciding if she's going to cross into the other side and die, or if she's going to still live, even though some terrible, tragic things have happened. Next is Just One Day, which is my favorite Gail Forman book. I love this duology. It was so good. It's all about a girl who is traveling in Europe with her school on a graduation trip, and she ends up just deciding to go to Paris with a random guy for a day, because that's what you do. Don't actually do that because that is probably very dangerous, but that's what happened in this book, and it was a really good book, something I could really relate to as we follow our main character in her first year of college, and it was just great. And then they sent me I Was Here, which I actually haven't read yet. So this follows the main character Cody as he is grappling with the loss of his best friend who has committed suicide. So I'm interested to see how this is going to deal with that topic, because I think it's a very important topic to be written about. Next, they sent me The Defiant by Leslie Livingston. This is the sequel to The Valiant by Leslie Livingston, which I read last year and thoroughly enjoyed. enjoyed. It's a historical fantasy that follows female gladiators that is actually based on evidence that was recently excavated that there were female gladiators. So it just features a bunch of really cool kick-butt women, and we have sibling relationships in here, and it was just so good, and I'm so excited to read the sequel. Next, they sent me the paperback copies of An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir. These were sent to me in anticipation for A Reaper in the Gates, which is coming out at, I believe, the end of May. I'll put the actual date on the screen for you guys, but I pre-ordered it and I'm so excited for it. I definitely want to reread these books before I dive into that one, and I'm really excited to have a paperback copy because that will be just much more readable than the hardcover. But these feature the new covers, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I do really appreciate the idea behind them, so I can definitely get behind that. And finally, for finished copies, I do have a few arcs that they sent me, but I received Down and Across by Arvin Amadi. Reading the synopsis for this, I was honestly like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have been personally attacked, like at me next time, please. But that is because it follows our main character, Scott, and Scott has a track record of starting things but not finishing them. But Scott has college applications on the horizon, and his parents and everyone else is wondering what he's going to do, so he ends up actually disappearing and going off to DC, seeking guidance from a famous professor. This sounds really intriguing to me. I can definitely relate to the feeling of being afraid to finish things, I guess, and being really non-committal, so I think this is one that will hit close to home, but hopefully in a good way. Finally, I have 3 arcs that Penguin sent to me. So first is The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. Sally Green is the author of Half Bad, which was a trilogy, but I only read the first book. I did really like it. It was one of those books where I felt like after reading the first book, I had had enough. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just don't generally read sequels that often, as you guys probably know. But this book was really intriguing to me. It's kind of compared to Game of Thrones, which is definitely intense and brutal, so that's kind of what I'm expecting. But it is set in a medieval fantasy world, and we have a princess who has been arranged in a loveless marriage by her brutal father. There's also a servant who is seeking revenge on a prince who betrayed his people, as well as a thief who steals everything as he goes from town to town. And finally, and probably most interestingly to me, is a 13-year-old who is on the run playing bait for a demon hunter. I'm hoping that the combination of these characters is going to give me a really thorough understanding of this world. I'm kind of getting like Fallen Kingdom sort of vibes, and I'm hoping that it will live up to that. I also really love this cover because it looks like chess pieces on a map, and I'm kind of picturing this being like sort of a political game, kind of like where everyone is using each other for their own personal gain and you don't know who you can trust. So if that is any indication, that being this cover, then it's going to be a really cool book. Next, they sent me Love and War by Melissa de la Cruz. This is the sequel to Alex and Eliza, which came out last year, and I liked it. I had very mixed feelings on it, but I'm definitely open to trying this book and seeing if I like it. Basically anything that has to do with Hamilton, like I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll read it. No wonder the publishing market is capitalizing on that. And the final arc that they sent me, they actually sent in this really cute package, so I will link the reading vlog where I unboxed that down below, but they sent me Royals by Rachel Hawkins. So this is basically kind of like a Prince Harry, Meghan Markle situation, but the main character, Daisy, is working at Walmart, not living a very glamorous life, but her sister is engaged to the Crown Prince of Scotland, but she ends up going overseas for the wedding, and of course, the Crown Prince of Scotland has an adorable little brother, Prince Sebastian. I feel like this is just going to be really cute and easy, and I'm hoping it's not going to be like unbearably corny. Obviously, it's going to be a little cheesy, but I really hope it still does have some substance to it, so I won't absolutely hate it, because I think if it does, I will really like it, because like I said, I do appreciate a fluffy contemporary at times. So those are all the books that Penguin has sent to me. Once again, thank you so much to them. This has been accumulating over a while, but still like crazy. Next, I have a couple of books from Thomas Allen and Son. So first is By a Charm and a Curse by Jamie Questel. This is all about a traveling circus that is bound by a charm that protects its members from getting older or getting hurt. And the main character, Emmeline, ends up unwittingly getting herself trapped in that circus. I love circus books. That's really no mystery, and I feel like this one has the potential to be really cool, but honestly, just if it says circus, I'm like, yes, please. And they also sent me A Disturbed Girls Dictionary by Noniqua Ramos. I don't know if I said that correctly. I apologize. But this is the main character trying to make sense of her world and all the crazy things that are happening. Her school has classified and kind of dismissed her as disturbed, but she starts writing stuff about her world in a dictionary format in order to make sense of things. Like I said, I love things that are written in a unique format, so this definitely sounds like it's up my alley. Next, I have a couple of books I received from Hatchet Book Group. So first is Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles. So Marvin's twin brother Tyler goes to this party, and the party ends up getting broken up by police, and then Tyler ends up going missing. However, he's not missing for long because his body ends up turning up as he was shot and killed by a police officer. I think this is going to be in the vein of The Hate U Give, where it deals with police brutality and really timely issues that are happening in the US and all around the world, but particularly in the US. I think this is going to be a really difficult read, but really important, so I'm looking forward to it. And they also sent me Love and Other Carnivorous Plants by Florence Gonsalves. This follows Danny, who is in her freshman year at Harvard, but it's not exactly turning out as she had thought. Not only is she failing out, but she's losing all of her friends and basically everything that makes her her. That is, until she finds herself falling for this edgy older girl that she met in rehab. Like I mentioned, I do like reading things where the characters are a little bit older, so I think this is definitely going to deliver on that front, and I'm interested to see how the relationship is going to play out given their meeting. Next from Abrams, I received Bygone Badass Broads by Mackenzie Lee. This is 52 stories of forgotten women who have changed the world, and it is based on the Twitter series of the same name. It is so amazing. I really loved it. I loved the illustrations that were paired with all of these amazing, fabulous women, and it was just so empowering and beautiful, and I think this is definitely a great read for anyone who's looking to find some inspiration from some other amazing women. Next is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I was sent this by Sourcebooks Fire, so thank you so much to them for sending this to me. I actually might be doing some exciting things with this book, so stay tuned for more on that, but this follows two women who can either save their world or doom it. There's so many other things going on in the synopsis, but I just wanted to know that, and then I'll go into it and see what is actually happening here. It seems like a really intense high fantasy, and it's definitely going to take me a good chunk of time to read it, but I feel like it'll be worth it. So we are almost at the end. The last few books I received in different subscription boxes, I will link all of the unboxings down below for you guys. So first in the Bookishly subscription box, which I unboxed in a reading vlog, I received Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, which has this amazing dust jacket on it, and underneath it is the Wordsworth Classics edition, which kind of resembles the Tim Burton movie, but I do really love this dust jacket. It is so pretty. Next from Fairy Loot, I received State of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury. This seems really weird, but it follows a main character who's named Sorrow, and she governs the Court of Tears in place of her grief-maddened father, who has dedicated the entire land into a monument for her brother who died before she was even born. That's really what I got from the synopsis. I had never heard of this book before, but I am intrigued by this whole like Court of Tears idea, but we'll see. Next in Owl Crate, I received Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. Ashley Poston is the author of Geekarella, which came out last year, and I really enjoyed it. It's a contemporary retelling of Cinderella, but this is very different because it is a sci-fi that is inspired by the story of Princess Anastasia. I know I can't say it how you're supposed to, but like, I mean, forgive me. No one says my last name correctly anyway, so I know how it feels, okay? But anyways, this has like beautiful purple edges. It is so pretty, and I'm very intrigued by the story because I loved Anastasia, the movie. Once again, can't say it, but I feel like it in space is gonna be really cool. Finally, I have two books I received from Whimsify. So in the February box, I received Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre. This is all about a criminal who is on the run and ends up getting picked up by this society that goes to explore the outer reaches of the universe. Super intrigued by that, especially because it's set in New Detroit, and I'm interested to see like the differences between present Detroit and New Detroit. And then in the February box, I received Pacifica by Kristen Simmons. This is another book I'd never heard of before, but it is about a pirate. But what really fascinates me about this is it has dystopian influences from Japanese internment camps during World War II. And not only that, but is based on the stories that Kristen Simmons heard from her own grandmother as she was in Japanese internment camps. I think this is going to be a very emotionally powerful story just because it has that personal connection, and I'm interested to see exactly what it is because I'm not too sure. So we finally reached the end of today's book haul. If you made it to the end, kudos to you because wow, this was a long one. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!